ahead, what steps are being taken to further build the country's domestic industrial capacity and deepen self-reliance when it comes to the manufacturing, agriculture and pharmaceutical sectors, for example?
Well, thank you very much. I think that this was an eye-opener. The president has always talked about a Ghana beyond aid. And in fact, our whole policy framework has been driven by that vision: build a Ghana beyond aid, build a self-reliant economy. So we had already begun a policy framework towards that self-reliant economy. In terms of agriculture, we had implemented the Planting for Food and Jobs program with support to farmers with fertilizer, seeds, extension services. And we transformed agricultural growth from 2.9% to 8.8% within 3 years. Ghana became a net exporter of about 17 different food crops in agriculture within 3 years, compared to being a net importer. So we had a lot going on in that area. We then, in industry, when we came into office 3 years ago, we implemented what we call the One District, One Factory initiative to try to get industrialization boosted. And so when we had this problem with the PPEs, we said, well, our textile, this is a good opportunity to really get our textiles industry moving. And so rather than importing all of these things, which would take a long time because China was essentially the place to go to import many of these masks, we thought that, I mean, why don't you get the textile industry moving? And so the government procurement of these millions of masks was actually placed at the local textile industries. And their response was fantastic. I visited a number of the textile manufacturing firms, and you know, of course, there's so many jobs in that area. You enter a factory and it's so massive. The production is across the board, and so they responded. They really responded very, very well. And many of these companies actually export abroad also. So it basically said, well, we should be doing more of this. You know, we should be, you know, empowering more of our local manufacturers and producers. And so it was a wake-up call, you know, to us, because before it was almost, oh, you import, but you had capacity. And so what I say in a sense, and what we are saying is that the COVID in some paradoxical way has jump-started our Ghana Beyond Aid vision. You know, it allowed us to be more self-reliant, and we have now, by way of policy, have through this whole experience, have said that government procurement should be very much directed, to the extent possible, to the local industries, so that if we can make the particular goods and services here, then we should direct government procurement to these industries. And we're seeing a good response, and that is going to drive our policy going forward.
In your capacity as the chairman of the COVID daily monitoring team, have you been able to deploy digital solutions in the fight against COVID-19?
Yeah, I think that it has been very important. And you know, again, the digitization process was something that we had, you know, started in very much an aggressive fashion before the COVID process. We came into office saying that digitization and digital solutions were a very big key to the transformation of the country. And this was before COVID. And so we started the process of issuing digital identification for everybody. We've deployed digital addresses, so we know every 5 by 5 square meter of Ghana is uniquely identified. We have an address for every spot in Ghana, whether it's on water or land. That has been done. You know, we've introduced mobile money payments, interoperability, and so on, and that has included a lot of people in the system. So I think that when COVID hit, we found that, you know, of course, in the context of social distancing and all of that, you needed infrastructure to be able to do a number of things, to work from home and all of that. So we realized that the digital solutions were very important. First of all, we deployed the digital solutions in tracing COVID-19 potential patients and people who had contact. So we deployed a mobile app for that purpose, to be able to know who had been in contact with who, and where they were in terms of the tracking and tracing. We also deployed drones, as I said earlier, to deliver test samples to our testing centers. And I think that we're probably one of the few countries in the world that deployed drones for this purpose. Of course, as I said to you, that we're doing Zoom meetings and so on. Digital solutions allowed again meetings to take place across the world and within Ghana, so that people who could not get to the office, we could send messages, we could take decisions, and so on. And so I think that if you look at what we had done, if you needed a passport, which I don't think many people were applying for in COVID, we had already digitized the passport application process. If you needed to renew your health insurance, you can do it from home, because we had digitized the renewal process for the National Health Insurance Scheme. So you could get your mobile phone, and because of mobile money interoperability, you can just pay and renew your insurance for medical services without actually going to the office, which may not be open or which you require queuing and so on. So there were so many digital applications that were very useful, because we had done some of these before COVID, you know, as part of our digitization process. So you could stay at home, access government services, and so on. But the whole process also reinforced our commitment to the digitization process, because we are in the process of completing the national ID system, which will essentially allow us to target, not only because every person, we've issued about 14 million cards now, so almost half the population have the cards now, and going forward, it's really by the end of the year we would have completed a significant portion. Everybody also has a unique digital address. Even if you are in a kiosk anywhere in the country, you can say, this is my address, and we'll know where to find you. And especially targeting the poor has been the digitization process, and digital solutions are going to be so key going forward. But for us, digital solutions have been extremely helpful in tracing, in testing, and in delivery of samples for testing and so on, and in communications. So we've been very upbeat on the digital for COVID.
In light of the ongoing pandemic, what would you say are the key areas in need of additional investment in Ghana?
Well, I think that we have what we call, we're implementing a program, a recovery program, I mean, beyond COVID, which we call the COVID alleviation and revitalisation of enterprises program, right? A CARES program, alleviation and revitalisation of enterprises. So we believe that, you know, we need more investment in industry because of the job creation that brings, you know. So the industrialization area is one that we think definitely more investment is needed. Agriculture, again, the vast majority of our people are employed in agriculture. The Planting for Food and Jobs program, our greenhouse village program, we've put up about 100 greenhouses, and we are expanding to other parts of the country. We're going to expand to other parts of the country. So the agric generally in the area of investment is very, very important, given that, you know, you're going to see for us, and not only for us, but globally, I think that the whole issue of self-reliance, you're going to see it as a global response, because many countries are going to be looking at this. So, you know, agric and the ability to have food security and to be self-sufficient in production of food is very important. So we see agric as critical, as well as industry that I have talked about, the industrialization process. We really also believe that Ghana should leverage its position as the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area to become a regional hub, right? That we can be a hub in many areas in terms of the petrochemicals, for example. We are an oil-producing country, gas-producing country. We can leverage ourselves to be a regional hub in the financial services industry, for example. We are very, very got a very developed financial system. We can be a hub regionally in education. This is one of our comparative advantages in the region. And we can also be a hub in education in the region, because so many countries send their students to study in Ghana, and we could take advantage of that in that regard. We also believe that we can be a hub for a digital services economy in Ghana, given what we have done. We are reducing the cost of data. We are expanding broadband, and we are now at a stage where with all the infrastructure we've put in place, we're going to be connecting all of that infrastructure within the next year, so that you have an interconnected system across the country, and that process has begun. For example, we've issued about almost 14 million national ID cards. By the end of the year, it'll be 16 million. But the number of people actually registered for tax in Ghana is less than 3 million. So what are we going to do? We're going to convert all the national ID card numbers into TIN numbers. So immediately, you have 16 million people, and suddenly you will have 16 million TIN numbers. We have them recorded, we know where they live, we know their digital addresses, and so on. So immediately you formalize the economy in a big way, you increase the potential tax base of the economy, you know who has filed, who hasn't filed, and so on. So now we can connect this to the national health, we connect it to the social security and all of that. So the whole interconnectedness, which is very key to building a digital services economy, is going to be fine. Ghana is also on the way to become the automotive hub in West Africa. Our automotive policy has proven very attractive. VW has set up here, and they've started producing. And in addition to that, Toyota is coming in, Nissan is coming in, and it's very clear. And we have domestic operators like Kantanka Cars who are producing. And we see Ghana being a hub in the sub-region, and people coming to Ghana to buy cars, you know, which have been assembled, and some are being manufactured in Ghana. So we're building an economy that is going to leverage on all these investments to become a hub for many services, whether it's education, agriculture, industry, digital services, financial services, and so on, because we can leverage our position as the African Continental Trade headquarters here to get a lot of moving within the context of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bawumia. It was a really informative discussion, and we appreciate you taking the time to answer all our questions.